Hey everyone, welcome to our second episode of Repair Cafe TV. My name is Don Fick and I'll be your host for this evening. And we've got a great group of repair coaches working with us this evening. We've got a joint venture of Repair Cafe NC, which serves the Raleigh-Durham Research Triangle area of North Carolina, joining together with WNC Repair Cafe, which operates in the Asheville area of Western North Carolina. So even though we're both in North Carolina, we're actually pretty far apart from each other. This is our first opportunity to come together and collaborate on a project. So we've got, what do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 repair coaches, and we expect some others will probably be joining us as we go along this evening. We don't have a particular time limit. We're going to be here probably for an hour or more, based on how many questions you all may have for us. I can tell you right now, we've got 34 attendees who have joined our call. You're out in the audience. And let me explain a little bit about how this works. We've got, this is kind of a webinar format with Zoom video conferencing. So the way it'll work is folks in the audience will have the opportunity to raise their hand and ask questions of our coaches. We're not going to be able to go through a step-by-step repair process, but instead what we hope to be able to do is to give you some tips, tricks, ideas that may help you in trying to solve repair problems at home. So we will invite you to share your story. And the process for that is first we'll invite you to talk. You can introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the project. And then we may ask you to share video. If that's okay, you can use your computer, your smartphone or tablet to share video with us. And we can see the item that you're working on. And hopefully you'll be able to learn from other folks who are sharing projects that they are trying to work on. And so we've got 2 features I'd like you to learn a little bit about in the software. One is chat. We do have a chat interface that allows you to post comments that everybody else can see. And so really quickly in the chat interface, I'd like everybody just to see if you can find that chat icon. It may be, if you're using a phone, accessible from an additional menu, 3 little dots you can click on that will give you the option to chat. And just go ahead and type in the city or country or state you might be calling in from, and so we can see that everybody has access to that chat. So I see Apex, North Carolina and Columbia, South Carolina. I see Illinois popping in and Charlottesville, Virginia. Vernon, New Jersey. We've got people coming in from all over the place. Carrboro and Durham here in North Carolina. Great. So, so helping me out tonight, to my side here is my son Trevor. You can see him over there, maybe, depending on your layout. And so Trevor is going to be working with me to try to read the comments that are coming in and try to traffic as folks are asking questions. And then you see all of our repair coaches kind of here around. Everybody's got different areas of interest, different areas of expertise. So they're all going to kind of pitch in with answers and comments, questions when you bring in your project. So you should also see a feature on the screen for raising your hand. And that's how you're going to get our attention so that we know we should call on you so that we can invite you to share your project. And so Trevor is going to help me traffic those because I think it could get a little bit busy. So we've got 42 folks sitting in the audience right now. And let's see, what do we have? We have 9, well, I guess 7 repair coaches, myself and Trevor here. So let's see if we're ready. Are we all ready? Everybody ready? All right. So I invite you all, if you have a project idea you'd like to ask questions about, go ahead and raise your hand. So you should see that as an option in the interface. There, maybe on your screen, you might see it if you're using a full computer. Raise your hand is going to be, where is raise your hand? I don't actually have it on mine because I'm hosting.
It's lower right on mine.
Lower right. Okay, see if you see that and an option to raise your hand. So we do have a few folks.
Yep.
And we're ready to take the first one? Yeah, okay. All right, so the way this works, sometimes it's a little slow, a little sluggish, so just be patient with the software here. And so we're going to invite Suzanne to tell us about the project you're working on. Hello, Suzanne, are you there? Oh, we got to unmute you. Let's see. Did you do that? All right. Just a moment, Suzanne. Can I unmute? It's not working. Sorry, Suzanne. We'll be with you in just a moment. Talking permitted. Suzanne, can you hear us? No, I think Suzanne left. All right.
No, I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Hey, all right. Great.
I'm not sure why it wasn't working before. It kept trying to boot me out.
Well, I'm glad you persevered.
I have an electronic ear thermometer that doesn't work. It takes a 9-volt battery and it apparently has no power. I am absolutely positive the batteries I've used to check it with have good power. It's not a battery issue. It must be like a loose wire, or if you have other ideas, I'd take that.
Do you have a specific make or model number for that thermometer?
It's a ThermoScan Braun HM2.
All right, I'll see if I can't pull up a picture while our repair coaches, if any of you have experience wrestling with these thermometers.
It took me off again.
Yeah, Suzanne, I'm seeing that you don't have any video.
Yep, I haven't turned on Suzanne's video, but Suzanne, if you'd like to.
The download should start automatically in a few minutes, and then I've hit run, and I'm back to you guys, but this has happened 4 times. I'm not sure why it keeps booting me off.
Okay, well, we can, if you'd like to hold up the item by video, we're going to, let's see, make her a panelist. You know what, maybe, yeah, it doesn't look like we can, oh, here we go. Ask to start your video. So did you promote her to panelist? Okay. Let's see, you may have a message on your screen, Suzanne, asking you if you can share your camera.
No.
No. Okay, so, well, you know what? I'll try to see if I can't.
It says it's trying to download here, but it's not downloading. It's not giving me the option to run anymore either.
Okay, we're going to see if we can't, nevertheless, find a picture of your thermometer. So that was the Braun ThermoScan?
Yes, HM2.
SM2?
No, HM2.
M2.
The frequent problem is the wires right inside the battery connector, because they're very thin, tend to break.
Oh. So in other words, this is a T model. Trash.
Not necessarily.
If the wire's broke, I can't really fix it, can I?
Well, if you know somebody with a soldering iron.
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
If you know somebody who has a soldering iron.
No, I don't.
Yeah, so it sounds like that might be a project that would require some special tools. You may need some screwdrivers to open it up and then be able to resolder the wire back to the board that controls the thermometer.
Okay.
That may be a tricky one. It might be one that you, where are you calling from today?
Cary, North Carolina.
Okay, so when we're able to resume our events in Cary, that might be something you can bring into us.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Suzanne. And so who's next, Trevor? John Whitman. John, are you there? Let's see, you may need to unmute. There you are. Hey, so John, thanks for joining us. By the way, John is one of the organizers of Repair Cafe in the Hudson Valley region of New York, and is also the author of a new book on Repair Cafe.
Yeah, and there are several of us from this area who have all jumped on, because we really spread the word. This is a great thing, Don. I'm loving this.
Thanks, John.
My question is quite general, and so I'm going to be asking for a troubleshooting approach from y'all, and that is sewing machines. because there has been such a need for face masks, particularly in New York State, the call has gone out and people have been responding like crazy, making face masks. I know two of us, Caroline Paulson and Holly Shader, are on the call here, or on the line here, and both of them have made masks. But at the same time, I've also received a number of emails from people saying, my sewing machine has either stopped working properly, or it's an old machine and I want to get it working properly. So looking for a general approach for what people might be able to troubleshoot on their own.
Well, having worked on,
Yeah. Go ahead, Bob.
having worked on my wife's sewing machine, there's two things that I found. One is lubrication. If it's old, hasn't been oiled in a while, it'll need lubrication. And if it's really old, the foot control, I had to replace it on my wife's machine because it was just worn out. It was an old carbon rheostat type one, which I replaced with a solid state one. But those were the two that I came across with her sewing machine, two problems.
I'm going to see if I can quickly pull up a specific email with a specific question. Oh, hold on.
While you're looking, I
Yeah.
would add to that, when you oil a machine, it's really important that it's sewing machine oil, which is a lighter oil than, you don't WT-40, and you don't put an oil that you would put on something else. You want sewing machine oil.
That's a good tip.
And most of the older machines actually have, they'll have holes specifically for oiling it, which is one of the advantages of having an older machine, is that they are set up to be oiled. I saw in the box someone also it said cleaning it, and just taking a brush and getting in under the plates and cleaning. Let's see if I can. I was going to see if I can get mine so you can see my machine, which is right beside me. Let's see if I can do that.
Well, what you are saying is certainly true, and this is, good general advice that we give for all kinds of repairs, which is cleaning and lubricating. And then
so if you have that kind of those screws in this part of the machine, the part where the feed dogs are, if you take those screws off and take a brush into that part, that's usually one of the things that people have trouble. And then you can see the holes in my machine's a 70s model, and you can see that there are holes that are specifically for oil.
Karen, can you bring your camera down a little closer to that area you're pointing to?
Yeah, and the places, Karen, the places that you would oil, those are certainly going to be covered in the user's manual, right?
They are.
Yeah.
But they're usually really obvious. Sometimes
Now,
they even have a red circle.
Are you familiar with a sewing machine made by Elna Serger? Are you familiar with the Elna Serger sewing machine?
Yeah, I'm not great at fixing sergers, but because they're just, they tend to be pretty complicated, and it depends on how old it is. But the older Elnas usually will have the red circles for where they need oil.
Yeah. Well, this is, I don't want to take up too much time, but simply to say, Elna Serger's sewing machines have a function called overlocking, or a feature called overlocking. And that's what has stopped working for one of the folks that wrote in.
Elna is pretty good about having their manuals online. Without looking at it would be hard to diagnose, but Elna is really good about having their manuals available. And there's several Facebook groups that also put up manuals. If you go to vintage sewing machines and sewing machines in general, put that search in, The manuals tend to be online, and that would be the place I would look first once you've done the cleaning and oiling.
Yeah. Karen, thanks very much. That's all great. I yield the floor.
Okay. I want to make a point for lubrication for almost anything. Stay away from WD-40. It's not a lubricant. It's more just the name comes from water displacement. And I was fortunate during my college days to have a roommate whose dad worked for the college. And they found that any lock that had been shot with WD-40 would very quickly fail because the residue just collects dust and it's so abrasive. So WD-40 is not the cure-all that a lot of people seem to think it is. So yeah, you use specifically a sewing machine oil for your sewing machines. It's the right consistency and such. Be very, very careful about where you use WD-40.
Yeah, that's really cool to know about WD-40.
Yeah.
So John, can I ask you to stay on the line? We have a number of folks who'd like to know more about the book that you are publishing. So I put up on the screen is a cover image of the book and a little blurb from well, I guess it's Google Books. But can you tell us about your book and your co-author and what is how can folks get a copy of it?
Well, the book is, as you see, Repair Revolution, How Fixers Are Transforming Our Throwaway Culture. We wanted this book to be about the repair movement. Certainly in the US and North America, there's a lot of activity in Canada, as you probably know, but also in South America and Europe and Australia. I saw in the chat that someone is here from Australia, from the Mendit group there. And so Elizabeth Knight and our approach to this was to cast as wide a net as possible to bring in the voices and experiences of people who are working in repair cafes and fix-it clinics and Mendits and repair labs and repair hubs, you know, all of the iterations of community repair. And so you will see the stories of lots and lots of people. We also go into, well, there's a chapter called The Wisdom of Repair, because there are so many very interesting aspects to this, such as tinkering, such as maintenance, such as wabi-sabi, and so forth. But then there's also the right to repair movement, which I imagine that many of you are very familiar with. That's basically, I guess you would call it the political wing of repair. And then chapters on repairing on caring and repairing in schools, because it's so important that repair be brought into schools. So that's a quick overview. I should say, plus a very good chapter on the title of the chapter is, How Do I Get One of These in My Town?
All right, that's great. Thank you very much, John. And we'll, everybody who registered today, we've got your email address. So we will be sending out an announcement when that book is available to purchase, and that'll be in late June.
Yeah, June 23rd is the release date now.
All right, that's excellent. Thanks very much for calling in today, John.
Thank you, Don.
Okay, and so we're going to move on to our next guest. Let's see, just can you... So Rochelle, we're going to ask you to join in just a moment. We've got to just make a couple little toggles here. And okay, Rochelle, you're on mute, but can you hear us? You may need to unmute, maybe the button in the lower left corner. There you are.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, we can.
Okay. I have an Alcatel One Touch tablet, and it stopped charging. Like, I did all the things I knew to do. I bought a new battery, I put it in. It's been charged. Well, it's been plugged in for the last 3 days and still no juice. I have it open. Let me see if I can hold it up there. I don't know how good video you can see. Can you see anything at all?
Yep, hold it back a little bit further so it focuses and we can see it. So it's got a fairly large battery there.
Yeah. Yeah, my camera is a little old, so I don't know how much you can actually see.
Are you sure the charger is good?
Yes, I have tried it with several different chargers. I've tried it with several different USB cables. Sometimes if I leave it plugged in for a week, I will get something from it, but then it dies and I have to like plug it in and leave it for a long time again.
How long does it last before it dies when you do get that little bit of charge?
It lasts for like a day or two, like, you know, of constant use.
Okay, so the battery is getting charged. I would say that this is my gut reaction, that it's probably the port. So you verified that your charger is okay. You've probably tried it with a couple different cables. You replaced the battery. That means that we've eliminated the possibility of those two, but there is the connector between them, the thing that you actually plug your charger into. And I would hedge my bets that that was probably it.
Yeah, Michelle, I've had this happen to me before. With my phone, I always stick it in my pocket, and it could just be something real simple, like a piece of lint that's just stuck in your USB port, and you might be able to get a toothpick or something and just get it out.
He's totally right.
It's happened to me on my headphone jack before too.
Any port, you can get any small debris stuck in there, and it can interfere with your charge. I actually pulled a broken staple out of someone's charging port once. It was a magnetic charging port, so it made sense. They were totally, it's not their fault, but they kept plugging their thing in. They're like, my charger's not working. They bought a whole new charger. They were like, I think I need my battery replaced. I need this for school. There was just something in there. So if it's not that, then you may need a new actual housing port itself. But I do agree, it's probably that. Something might be in there or new port.
Okay, so I'll check that, and then if that's not the problem, I'd probably have to desolder the port, because let me see if I can get you guys to look at. So I took the whole thing apart. So like right there, would I have to take that port off and try to get a new one on there if I could?
So there's a couple things. The port itself could be your issue,
Mm-hmm.
but you may also have a flat ribbon cable that runs between that port and the actual battery.
Mm-hmm.
Usually your battery plugs into some sort of location, and then there's a flat ribbon cable that runs from here to there. I'm not sure about this model specifically, so that may not be true, but it could also be that cable, not just the port itself.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how much you guys can see. Like, I can try to show you what it looks like, but I don't think you're getting a very good picture. But there are several ribbon cables on the back, and then there's the actual power port, like right there, right, plugged into the power, and then down here there's that ribbon cable.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the tricky thing about taking this type of tablet apart too is those cables are very prone to being unseated. And unfortunately, they are also prone to tearing out of their holding spot. And once they tear, it's over.
I was afraid of that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what has happened at all, but given that it's still charging for you, I would say you're probably fine. In terms of the ribbon cables, you may need to replace one of them, and they are typically replaceable. You just need to do more of what you've been doing now to kind of narrow that problem down.
Okay.
And Rochelle, I can recommend ifixit.com is a great source for both parts as well as guides to repair.
Definitely.
So lots of folks have submitted their own kind of homemade guides to taking it step by step to remove a battery and replace it, or to remove a charging port and replace it. So you might look at that as well.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. I'll see what I can do about fixing it.
Yeah, and if you are stuck again, if you want to take pictures for us, since the camera is a little blurry, that might be a little easier.
Oh, awesome.
If you're struggling in the future, I'm happy to put a couple of set eyes on it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rochelle. And who's next, Trevor? Okay, Susan, we're going to invite you to share your project with us. Just a moment. Here we are. Okay,
Hi.
Susan, welcome.
I'm
Where
a little
from?
hesitant because I'm calling from Amherst, Massachusetts.
Great, welcome.
And my project is very low tech. It is, it's a rolling suitcase, and I actually have 3 of them where the handle has come out of, they're plastic hard case rolling suitcase. And I have 3 of them that have been barely used, and the handle has been ripped out of the plastic housing. I can try to get you a picture, I suppose.
Do you have it with you?
Yes, I
okay.
do. I have it right here.
Okay, we may need a little bit more light. It seems to be
Yep.
kind of dark there.
That helpful? So you can see what.
And I think you're going to maybe need to turn off your virtual background because it's
Okay. Well,
it's hiding a lot of.
let's see here it is. Can you not see it? I was hoping not. Well, okay. Let me turn off my virtual background. Sorry, folks.
No worries.
Da, 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 da. How do you pick none? Is there a none option? Yes, there you go. So you can see, this is what it's supposed to look like. And the plastic piece just comes off entirely. And there are these little cheesy plastic bolts that were holding it on. And I actually have 3 suitcases like this. And so I figured there's got to be some easy way to fix them so that they're usable again.
Is there a way we can get that on a full screen? Get a larger view of that suitcase handle?
We can make this video. We can make Susan's video larger. Is that helpful?
Okay. Yeah, that's helpful.
Susan, if you want to hold that up again.
Sure. This is the way it's supposed to look, and I don't care. I don't even care what it looks like anymore. I just want to be able to use the handle. So it was like this. It had a plastic housing. These are plastic pegs, but there are holes in the hard case.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this metal piece that was affixed to the plastic bolts, and then the housing went on top. But yeah, is that good enough?
That's good enough for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you get some number 8 or?
Why don't you just take some stainless steel bolts, very small number 6 maybe bolts, and put them right through there. Drill a hole and stick them through and nut them from the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6 might be a little small, but get washers too.
Well, like a good panhead screw, maybe an 8. I couldn't really see the.
Yeah,
okay.
That would be my guess, a number 8.
And is that going to be a problem? That's for the hard plastic. That's the washers will just give enough resistance or strength that it'll not be a problem.
You get a fender washer, which is which has a small hole but a big body, and it'll distribute the pressure more thoroughly across the surface. And then if you get some nylon insert lock nuts, they're sort of nice and smooth. It won't rip anything inside the suitcase. And if you had to, you could flip it around, put the head of the bolt in from the inside, and that is definitely a nice smooth surface, and have the nuts on the outside, and they'll still look good because the nylon inserts look sort of cool.
So it's a nylon insert that goes.
It's a nut. It's actually like a little. It's called almost like a castle nut. It's not a flat nut. It's like a sort of a tall nut with a nylon insert, and then they probably will call them locking nuts at the hardware store.
Okay. Okay.
But they'll have nylon or fiber inserts where the screw threads are, and
Okay.
that's really intended to lock the nut from slipping off by itself. But it also looks pretty good once
Okay.
it's tight.
And the metal screws aren't going to cause TSA problems, or no?
Well, yeah, I mean, they're metal. I mean, there's no question they're metal. I mean, you can get nylon screws, but I think they might break pretty quick.
Case
There's
in
not a
point.
whole lot, you know, it's pretty, I mean, it's pretty obvious they're there and they're not anything dangerous. I mean, they're skinny little things, you know, 4 of them or
Okay.
2 of them, whatever you put in there.
I
Great.
completely agree on the TSA thing. Having traveled with many odd tools before, you can take scissors and sewing needles and knitting needles and medical needles on the plane. The things that are holding your suitcase together will not be dangerous to them at all. They have probably seen many DIY fix-its before.
Okay. Thank you very much. Great. The nylon inserts are going to be great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Susan. And we're going to take our next guest, which is Roger. So Roger, just give us a moment while we activate your audio. And let's see. So sorry, this is the clunky part of this video here. Okay, Roger, there you go. Welcome. And where are you calling from, Roger?
We're calling from Warwick, New York.
Oh, great.
We're in the Hudson Valley also. And I have with me the co-author of the Repair Revolution book, Elizabeth Knight. She's my wife.
Hello, Elizabeth.
Very good.
Oh, how are you?
And I just
Great,
wanted to revisit the discussion about oils for the sewing machine. I've been doing repairs on clocks, on old clock mechanisms for a while, and it's the same as what several people have said here. It's dust, dirt, grit, grime, and just general lubrication. But I think it just bears saying that nice light oil that works for clocks or for sewing machines is 10 or 12 bucks for a supply that'll last you 30 years.
Yeah.
So it's very readily available on Amazon or other sites, and a great tool to have at the Repair Cafe.
That's a great suggestion. Thank you, Roger. And thank you,
for what you're
Elizabeth.
doing. I think this is just a great way of expanding the notion of sitting down across the table from people and showing them how to repair objects.
Dawn, and this is Elizabeth. This is such a wonderful way for people to be able to connect at a time when you can't do it another way.
Well, thanks. I'm glad you were able to join us, and best wishes with the launch of the book in June.
Thank you. We're very excited. There's a whole section in it about how to diagnose problems with, as a matter of fact, sewing machines. And I was pleased to hear your suggestions about how to handle it too, and how to diagnose problems with digital devices and others. So we're very excited. But just being able to see other people come together at a time like this to continue to help people it just gives me hope. And thank you.
Yep, thanks for joining us this evening. And we're going to go on to our next guest is Lori, and we're just going to take a moment to switch Lori on here. And there we are. Lori, if you take yourself off of mute, you can tell us where you're calling from and what kind of project you have for us tonight.
Lori McNeil, I'm calling from Vernon, New Jersey. I had the opportunity to go to the repair clinic in Warwick. I have only been there once, but I have to tell you that it made an incredible impression on me. I unfortunately do far too many Zoom meetings all day long at work. This rocks them all.
Thanks very much. Do you have a project that you're working on or something that you would like to ask our coaches about?
I do indeed. I have a flat screen monitor that powers on. It is a Spectra model X32. and it shows that there's power by virtue of a blue light in the bottom right-hand corner, but nothing else is happening. I do not have it hooked up to cable. I don't have cable in the house any longer. I only have streaming, but I don't know at this point if this is a functioning TV. It was left in the room that my son moved into in college, and decided to see if it would work.
And when was the last time that it worked? Do you recall?
I don't know that.
Lori, have you tried a factory reset?
No, I have not.
We got a flat screen TV working after maybe 2 hours of poking around electronics, and put it all back together, and then did a factory reset as they were leaving, and it did work for us. That's something we need to know, specific make and model, and we could try to go ahead and find a factory reset procedure online. And, you know, in this case, the flat screen that was at our repair cafe in Asheville, it was some contorted press up on the, you know, volume up on the remote control and press channel down 3 times and hold it for 3 seconds or something. You know,
Okay.
nobody would know to do that unless they had the manual in front of them.
Okay, I do have, and I can certainly, can I look it up? I do have the, in addition to the model number, I took a picture of all of the information on the back of the television. So if I go to this brand's website and enter all of this data, will there be factory reset information there?
You know, when we found it with this TV in particular, we found it on a electronics repair forum specifically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we just typed it in Google and went from there.
Gotcha.
But who knows with yours?
Okay, I will absolutely try that. I noticed that you are recording this session. Are there previous sessions like this that are recorded? Because I'm learning something from everything that you guys have said. Richard, the fact that that's called a castle nut, I got to tell you, that's cool. It's the kind of thing you never, well, regular people like us never know the name of. And I think I'm like, this is so cool. It's called a castle nut. I know exactly what you were describing.
So this is just our second episode, and no, we didn't record the first one. So but this one is being recorded. It's also being streamed live on Facebook. So
Gotcha.
you will be able to come back and watch it again.
Okay, and I will learn more. Well,
and I can tell you
bravo.
that it looks like Trevor may be in a different room, but he's actually sitting across the table from me. And while you all were talking, he was able to look up, and there is a reset code for that model Spectre TV. And I did send it to you via private message in the Zoom chat. So
Gotcha.
you can take a look at that after the call.
Thank you very, very much. This
You're
is
welcome.
incredible.
All right, we're going to go on to our next guest is Dave, and we're just going to switch you live in a moment, Dave. And then here you are. Okay, Dave, welcome to Repair Cafe TV. Can you tell us where you're calling from and what kind of project you have for us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to chime in on the thing that John Wackman was talking about with sewing machines. One of the common things that we've found, you know, is getting the right needle and getting it in completely all the way up. I've seen a lot of people put the sewing machine needles in and not get them seated completely. You know, it's easy to put them in not quite all the way in, particularly the old machines with a long shank, and that can disable the ability of the machine to work properly. And then, you know, the bobbin, if it's not loaded properly, that's going to mess things up. So cleaning, oiling on every machine known to all of us is, you know, totally important. And then the other thing I wanted to chime in on was WD-40, water displacement formula 40. Yeah, they made 39 mistakes. And then they got the 40th formula. It worked. But water displacement is not good for everything. And as a professional locksmith since, well, for 45 years, what was said about putting WD-40 in locks Oh my God. Yes, please keep them out of your locks unless you want to make a brick inside of your lock, because every bit of dust is going to turn into a brick, because that's just going to happen. If you want to have the best lubricant you can buy for repairing clocks, locks, sewing machines, you need something really lightweight, really fine, really good. And what I pack is a pin oiler. And that's not, hard to come by, but it's a little tiny thing with a nozzle that looks like a pin, like a straight pin, and gives you the ability to put one tiny drop right where you want it. And a pin oiler is a good thing, but if you want the best, go for something called Triflow, and it's got liquid Teflon in it. And PTFE, which was something that was patented by DuPont, is no longer totally only their game, but Teflon or PTFE, microscopic little particles. There you go. You got it.
Yeah, good stuff.
Oh, that is the best when it comes to locks, clocks, and any small moving object. And I've seen things like 1890, 1850 locks and just old mechanisms that were totally locked up from rust and disuse, brought back to life with just a couple of tiny little drops of that stuff.
Well, thank you very much for calling, Dave, and thanks for those suggestions. And glad Bob had his can of Triflow at the ready. So,
okay, now, as far as what I'm working on, I'm trying to come up with a design that'll work for improving the thing that everybody right now is totally wrapped up in, which is masks. The fabric masks. And I welcome the suggestions, and I'm looking for ideas to be able to do a one-way breathing valve edition out of some upcycled materials. And what I've come up with so far is taking a pill bottle, cutting it up, and taking the lid as the material to use for the valve body, and then taking that, and then what I've come up with is making a valve flapper and drilling the holes in the lid, coming up with a way of assembling this thing so that it can be taken apart and cleaned. And now my challenge is taking the cloth mask and reinforcing it, or putting a hole in it where this can be fitted into it, so that when I inhale, this will seal against the holes, but when I exhale, it'll allow my breath to go out.
Yeah, so Dave,
I spent thousands of hours wearing a real respirator at work before I retired.
Okay, Dave, I'm sure there are a lot of commentary that our coaches could provide on masks. It was a big topic of discussion in our last Repair Cafe TV, which unfortunately we didn't record. And so, however, I think for tonight, our focus is going to be on trying to help folks repair items that they might be working with.
Sure, I understand.
But we can perhaps kind of pool together some ideas that we have on mask design and circulate that by email after the call. Would that be helpful to you?
That would be great. That's all I wanted to say, is get the idea and get some feedback.
Yeah, so we'll circulate that later on, and I believe we probably do have your email address when you signed up for the webinar.
Oh, sure.
So,
Yeah.
yep. So we'll follow up with
And
you.
yeah,
Thank you,
if you
Dave.
can do that, and I'm on the organizer Facebook page.
Oh, good. Okay. Yep. So yeah, we'll get that out to you later on.
Okay.
Thanks for calling in tonight.
Well, thank you for doing this. This is fantastic, and I can't wait to see John's book and Elizabeth's book. I can't leave her out.
That's right. Okay, and we're going to move on to our next guest.
Okay.
Thank you very much. And so we have Holly is going to join us. Holly, just give us a moment to activate your microphone, and you can tell us about where you're calling from and what kind of project you have working on. Just a moment. And is that coming in? Trevor's working on it. He'll get you connected in just a moment. Oh, okay, here you are, Holly Ross. And you may need to just unmute your microphone with the, there you are. Welcome.
Hi, sorry about that. My internet connection reset right when you said my name. Can you see the video yet?
No, I think we'll need to, let's see. You got it? Okay, there you are.
Okay, so we have this Halloween decoration that we bought a long time ago, years ago. And my kids like it, and my husband doesn't like paying for Halloween decorations, so it's kind of like use what you have. And so he used to light up, his eyes light up, and he makes this like thundering lightning kind of noise, you know, and it's like, bah, 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 you know, and it's silly and fun. And just these lights down here come on and flash up, and it's motion activated based on when somebody walks onto the porch, it turns on. And I think you can also press a button in the front if you want to, you know, manually do it. So anyway, he stopped working. We thought it was a battery issue. I always take the batteries out, you know, after Halloween when we store it in the garage. And we changed the batteries, but it wouldn't work at all. And then we kind of messed with it a bit and got some of the lights to halfway kind of flicker. So you can hear the inside of it go like, so his lights would kind of, but we completely lost all the audio and most of the other lights. And so I tried to take it apart and thought, you know, I could figure this out, but, you know, just, no, I couldn't. And so anyway, I had actually planned to bring this to you in December I'm in Apex. And so I was going to bring it to the Cary, North Carolina Repair Cafe, and something came up that night and couldn't make it. And so then the next one got canceled from this stuff. And so, or the next one I was going to go to. So anyway, I was wondering, I mean, I'm not super well, I am techie, but I'm like computer techie. I'm not electronics techie. So, but I just wondered, is it something you can look at and figure out, or do I need to wait for an in-person meeting?
Did any of the batteries in it ever leak?
No, actually, they did not. And I don't know what you can see here. This
Does
is
anyone have
the battery compartment.
anyone have suggestions about the kinds of tools that Holly might need to maybe try to trace this down or make sense of it? Holly, do you have access to a multimeter, which is like a voltmeter?
I've heard of that. I don't know. I'll have to ask my husband and see if he has something buried from back in college, maybe.
Yeah, so
to go to any corrosion.
Bob's first remark about leaking batteries, that's often a problem we see with seasonal decorations. People store them over the winter or summer with batteries installed. If they leak, and you end up getting a disruption in the flow of current through the device. So sometimes a multimeter, which allows you to test for voltage, is a great way to determine if that is your first problem, if the batteries are working or not.
Here's I just opened up the battery compartment.
Yep.
So that looks, I mean, I think it looks pretty clean. There's no corrosion on there that I can see. So, I'm trying to see the chat while the video is up.
Let me jump in here. If you can get access to a multimeter, and I see there's a switch right close by the battery box, and as well as checking for corrosion on those contacts, check for continuity on those, through the switch. It could be just a very inexpensive
Does anything
switch.
work at all, Holly?
It didn't for a while, but then we kind of wiggled things around and got some of the lights to work. So you could hear like the clicking of the eyes, the lights for the eyeballs turning on and off. So it was, I can't, honestly now I should have put batteries in it and I could show you hey Robert, can you go get 3 AAA batteries really fast?
An easy thing to try is just exercise the switch back and forth a number of times. Maybe crud on the switch contacts.
Exercise the switch?
Just operate the switch.
Yeah, a lot of times the contacts will get crumbed up, and if you just move the switch back and forth about 10 or 15 times, it'll clean them off. That's a possibility.
Can you show me where the switch is?
Yeah, it's the on-off switch. You had your finger on it.
Okay. So yeah, just push it back and forth like that.
Right.
Yeah. That's basically will clean. It rubs the contacts together, so it sort of cleans it off.
Okay.
And there's no loose wires in there, is it? You said you moved wires around and things happen.
Well, I don't think I moved. When I took it apart, I kind of looked at it and said, I have no idea what to do now. So I put it back together. But when we it was still put together when we kind of just jiggled it some more. The whole, like, if something's not working, just kind of jiggle it around.
So you mean you like shook the thing, right? That's what you're saying?
I guess. I think we just kept trying, and part of it, the lights came back on, but the sounds never came back. So I didn't know, like, I'm assuming that this is the sound box because the dots are underneath. So I didn't know, like, if this is something that goes bad or needs to be replaced or that kind of thing.
That device on the top is a piezo device, which probably makes the weird sounds.
Right.
Makes weird sounds?
Halloween ones.
Okay, I'm gonna put batteries in it and we'll see what, actually I haven't tried this since Halloween. So
maybe it'll work since we're watching.
Say that again?
Maybe it'll work since we're watching now.
I would be happy to have Murphy's Law work, but Okay, so I saw lights just come on just a second ago.
Yeah, there was a blue light.
Okay, see his lights are working and his mouth is moving, but he's not making any sound. So what I hear the manual move, it was his mouth. You can hear it go, but it's not making the noise.
Yeah,
so.
It's possible that speaker and piezo is bad, but I wouldn't guess they're both bad at the same time.
Okay.
So it might be an issue with that board.
Okay. Let's see, this is a speaker and piezo here, is that what you're saying?
That's basically where your sound is going to come from. And if there's no loose wires, and it's possibly something on the board that.
On this part.
Mm-hmm. And that board, are those screws holding that board in? Little tiny ones on each side?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a screw here, and I can't tell in the bottom. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
you
two
should
screws
be
on the
able
corner.
to unscrew that. I think it would benefit from a good visual inspection. You might need a smaller screwdriver.
Yeah, no, I couldn't find the smaller one. But let's see if this works.
I do agree with something in the chat posted that it would be a good idea to clean the inside of this. And if it's a little older, I agree. Echoing many things that we've said tonight about cleaning, there could be almost nothing wrong with this. It just needs a little TLC.
Yeah.
It does sit outside during the month of October, I guess. So I just wouldn't know where to start with how to clean it or what to clean. But
and also the fact that it's not making much noise. It just might be a very poor wire connection. Maybe the wires are several very, very fine strands wrapped together, and if you lose all but one or two, your resistance at that point will go up, and basically you won't get any power through the rest of the circuit of that wire is attached to. So
okay.
It's just one possibility.
I have a quick question for you. Just like looking at this, the video is not very great for us, but do you see or feel that this is dirty in here? I know you said you don't know exactly what you're looking for, but dirt is what you're looking for.
No, actually, it looks pretty clean.
That's kind of what it looks like to me.
I mean, like there's a little bit of residue as I rub my.
I think that's more likely to collect on the plastic. That seems pretty normal to me. If there's not a lot of that on your panels, then I would suggest that it's not actually that. I mean, it could be board, but it doesn't look like anything is inherently wrong with the board from what I can see.
Okay.
I do see Garen in the chat has said something about the normal speaker and soldering. He's right. He's suggesting that maybe the solder joints may have cracked, and I can't see that from here, just with the camera that you have and the screen that I have. But any soldering joints, good or bad wires aside, can crack. So if you don't have enough solder attaching your wire to the speaker, then you'll get all of the normal things, and it is actually sending the input to the speaker, but the speaker isn't ever getting it.
Okay.
So the actual connection to your speaker, does that have like a nice thick, it looks very round bit of metal connecting it to the speaker? A good solder joint, there should be a nice solid connection between the wire and the speaker.
I'd say one side does more than the other of the yellow wires. Is that what we're looking at?
The yellow ones or the blue ones connecting to that upper one, because both of those are going to be your sound.
Yeah, there's a blue one that's, I mean, I'd say one has more metal than the other on both of them.
But they still seem like solid connections, right?
They are, yeah, they're still connected.
Okay.
Is that better?
Yeah, that is a lot closer. Yeah, I don't think that, Garen, that's a really good idea, but I mean, from our blurry video, it looks like it's fine.
So Holly, this might be something you'll have to bring into us when we can reconvene in person and take a closer look.
Okay.
Hey, can I just say,
do it before October.
I hope so.
Sorry, just can I say one thing about, we were talking about the multimeter earlier. Doing this kind of troubleshooting, what I like to use is the continuity setting on a multimeter that has the audible sound, so that when the two probes are touching, you can hear a beeping sound. And then when you lose continuity, then your beeping sound goes away, so that you can start poking around where you think that there should be a good solder connection, and you'll get that beeping sound. And then, if you don't hear the sound where you should have a connection, then that's where you start jiggling your wire to see if it's a bad solder joint or
okay.
Just a suggestion.
I learned how to fix my Christmas tree light wires this year. by running the special magic tool along the wire until it stops beeping, and I guess that's where the current stops. So I get the idea of what you're saying.
Nice.
Very similar, yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Holly.
All right, thank you for helping.
Yep. And so if you guys have just joined us in the audience, the way this works is, as you see, we're happy to field questions and try to help folks fix things at home. If you'd like to contribute, share your project with us, you want to use the feature that says raise hand on your software. So if you're using a mobile phone or using a computer, look for the option in the audience panel, maybe on the lower right, to raise your hand, and then we can call on you. And are we ready to take the next guest? Holly, another Holly, 2 Hollies in a row. And Holly, you're on with Repair Cafe. Where are you calling from today? Oh, and you may have to turn off the mute. It's probably in the lower left corner of your screen. There you are.
There we go. So I'm calling from Gardner, New York, also in the Hudson Valley. And I'm having an issue with my printer, the bane of most people's existence. I have an Epson Workforce WF2760, and it is not recognizing 2 of the ink cartridges. I've tried changing the ink cartridges. I've tried like cleaning off the heads to the ink cartridges and the pins, and it says that it doesn't recognize it. Any suggestions?
Are the cartridges Epson cartridges, or are they knockoffs?
The cartridges it's not recognizing are Epson cartridges. I did put in a non-Epson black ink one, and it was shortly after that that I had the problem.
Have you tried the factory reset? Just put that one out there again.
I have not. I'll have to look into how to do that, but yeah, that's a good idea. I'll give that a shot.
Right.
Do we have any other suggestions for Holly? Now, Holly, did you say you clean the contacts on the cartridge or on the printer? There might be like little metal pins or little metal contacts with each cartridge.
Right. Yes, I did. I just kind of, I wasn't sure exactly what to do, and I figured alcohol was a pretty good solvent. So I did wipe the heads of the cartridge with the alcohol wipe, and basically a Q-tip with alcohol on the pins.
Yeah, that's a very good tool to use. Yeah.
Yeah, if it's not something physically obstructing it, I agree. Do a factory reset because there's no harm in it. At least you know. And if it doesn't work after the factory reset, then there's probably like a hardware issue with it.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll give it a try. I'll give you feedback if it works.
Thanks.
Thank you for your suggestions.
Oh, attendees to chat with. Sorry, we're just fixing the chat. Maybe the chat was accidentally disabled. So if it was, maybe chat is back. Thank you very much, Holly, for sharing your project with us, and good luck with that printer. We're going to take the, actually, let me ask.
Thank you.
Dan, did you or any of the other coaches from WNC Repair Cafe have a demonstration you wanted to share with us tonight?
I could. I have my old sandals here to put new soles on, but I certainly don't need to fill anybody's time doing that.
Okay, well, we do have
so yeah, no.
Okay, we've got a few other people raising their hands, so we'll just keep.
Let's do that.
Okay. So next guest is Catherine, Catherine, we're joining you into the call in just a moment. And if you turn off your mute, you should be able to talk to us and tell us where you're calling from and what kind of project you have.
So, my name is Catherine. I'm calling from Illinois. I think I understand what somebody else is talking about now, because when you added me, the Zoom completely restarted for me. So there may be some glitch that people are having. Anyway, so I have a 35-year-old Cuisinart, and it works great. I've been able to buy replacement bulbs, blades, and bowls for it, and top over the years, so that's been great. But now where the cord connects to the body of the machine is totally frayed, and my husband's like, you have to throw it out. And I'm like, no, there's got to be a way to fix it. So I don't have access to Café by me to go in and have people look at it. And when I saw this on my Facebook feed, I was like, hey, maybe I can get my Cuisinart fixed, or at least some suggestions on how to proceed.
I'm sorry, I didn't get exactly what the device was.
So there's a line that is the power line that goes into the body of the machine, and the brake is right in the power cord, right where it enters the body of the machine.
Yeah. That's definitely not untypical. Happens a lot. The basic thing is taking it apart, and if it's that old, it's probably relatively easy to take apart. I could possibly look it up, but what I didn't get was what kind of machine it was.
Oh, it's a Cuisinart.
Is it a specific model Cuisinart?
What? They make lots of things.
Yeah, it's a Cuisinart Professional 14.
It's a food processor?
Yes.
Okay. Are you able to share a video? We can see it, maybe?
So I was, let's see, screen share. Nope, that's screen share. Is that it?
No, it would. This allows us to see your computer desktop.
Right. Okay.
So I will.
I'm a little technically challenged apparently. Oh, share my video. There we go. Okay, start my video. Got it. Stop share. Oh, ta-da! There I am. Okay. So here's my Cuisinart, and there is the dangerous cord. I don't know if you can.
So it and the cord is broken just after the strain relief.
Right. Right. So there you go.
Yeah, it looks like just the insulation is broken, so it's not totally dangerous, but yeah, it should be replaced. That piece that is at the end of the cord is a strain relief, and in order to fix it properly, you would get a replacement cord, which may not be available.
Okay.
So you may have to jury rig it a little bit by putting your own strain relief in there.
Okay.
Do you have a model number on that? Is there a tag on the bottom that has a model number?
Just a minute. I need my eyes to be able to see. So it's hang on a second. I'm looking at the plate, but I don't see the where it says model number. I know I have to know it because that's how I ordered the bowls for it and replacement blade. So it has, all right, so it has a sticker with a number on it, right? But it also has this panel here, and I don't see a model number on that. So what I'm seeing, I think, is just this particular unit number. Oh, here it is. I found it. Model DLC-7M. M as in Mary.
I'll tell you what, maybe Bill, while you take a look at the availability of replacement parts, and Catherine, if you don't mind standing by, then we'll take another guest and see if we can field their query while we're waiting for Bill to look up those parts. Does that sound good?
That sounds good.
Okay.
Good. Thank
So,
you.
Bill, if you can continue to research that, let's bring in MB. Okay, MB, we're going to ask you to join in just a moment. And I think you have a question about your laptop. So you may need to push the mute button. There you are. Welcome to Repair Cafe. Where are you calling from today?
No, I cannot see myself. I understand that, but just bear with me. So I'm gonna leave this one over here. I can't see myself. Oh, here it is. Oh, now I know why I can't see myself.
There you
All
are.
right. Hey, hello. Okay, so Roshan, I need the charger. This is the Toshiba. Do you need the model number also?
Yeah, that's always helpful.
Okay, the model number is satellite C75 D as in David hyphen C7217, and it says Windows 10. Roshan, I need the charger and a screwdriver set. No, I'm sorry, I apologize. I was working late hours till 8:15.
So tell us, what kind of problem are you having with the laptop?
Well, so all right, so here we go. When I press the power button, nothing happens. I changed the batteries. My husband actually removed the whole monitor display to see if that is busted, but nothing happened. We removed the batteries, kept it pressed for 30 seconds, like how it was advised. Screwdriver is set like, and nothing happened. And I was like, I don't know how to fix this.
Can you plug in an external display to it
As in,
and
what do
see
you
if that
want?
works?
Oh, so you want me to connect another monitor to it?
Yeah.
I haven't tried it. I probably have to go up.
Before you do that, can I ask, if you plug in your adapter to it, does anything happen?
Adapter as in the charger?
Yeah.
Okay, let me show you what happens. I need the small one will work. Okay. So initially what happened was there was a light that used to come showing that, you know, it's plugged into the power source, but now it's not even doing that.
So you have the adapter plugged in. If you push the power button, does anything happen? Any lights at all?
Yes, yes, you see over here where my finger is, the power button lights up.
And with the adapter unplugged, it does not light up?
Mm-mm. It, oh, yep, it just goes off.
Plug the power back into it and turn it
Okay.
on again. And are there any, there's lights on there for the battery and for the disk and other things. Are any of those lighting up?
You want me to press the button and see, or is...
Yeah, turn it on.
That's it. This is all that's happening.
There's no other lights
No.
blinking on it?
No, nothing on the keyboard or anything.
Yeah, there's usually like about 4 lights, maybe on the edge, the front edge of it or something.
Uh-huh.
Status lights. And if they aren't doing anything, but that power button is lighting up, then I suspect you have a more serious problem internal to it.
Oh, wow. So that means it's really busted then.
It may be more than we can typically
Yeah,
do.
that would be my first suspicion, especially if none of those status lights are lighting up. If those status lights were lighting up, that would indicate that the processor is running and it's trying to boot up, and you could possibly have a display problem.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not seeing any of those status lights at all, other than that power light,
Mm-hmm.
I'm suspecting the processor isn't running, and that's like a replacement motherboard, which wouldn't be worth it.
Yeah, that's what that was my next question, whether it's worth it, spending that much money. I guess then I have to say goodbye, or probably just save it. I don't know what to do with this. Alrighty, I guess.
Okay. Well, thank you for bringing us that project, and I'm sorry we couldn't be more successful with it.
No, it's okay. Thank you very much for trying. I really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Okay.
So Bill, you were researching the Cuisinart electric.
Yeah, I haven't been able to find a parts place that I was looking for. Either that or not, there's nothing available except the top and a couple accessory pieces. They said that there was a breakdown, a diagram for that, which would be critical in terms of taking it apart, and I can't find one of those either.
So some of our guests are suggesting kind of a generic power cord. Do you think it would be feasible to just even use that existing cord, cut it shorter, and?
Oh yeah, it would be. That strain relief, you probably can't pull that cord through that strain relief. It's possible that you might be able to do that. If you can't do that, then just take that whole thing out, cut it, reattach it to where it went, and put some kind of tie wrap or something around the cord on the inside so it can't pull out.
Maybe even tying a knot in it on the inside.
Yeah, that looks like a pretty big cord. Tying a knot would be a big knot. But yeah, you could do that on it too.
Okay.
The key would be taking it apart, and usually these parts places have some kind of schematic for that, a parts blow up, so that you can get an idea of how to take it apart. But on this site that I'm on, I don't see anything like that. And like I say, they only have 3 parts listed, and none of them are the power cord.
Okay, so perhaps if we come up with another idea later on, we'll share that, or we could even perhaps send it out by email. We're going to take our next caller. We have Olivia. Can you switch on, Olivia? And this will just be a moment, Olivia. And as folks have noticed, the software may just completely quit and start again. Looks like you're on. You just need to unmute. Hey, Olivia, welcome to Repair Cafe.
Good, good. I'm turning on my video here.
And where are you calling from tonight?
So I'm calling from Pennsylvania.
The Keystone State. There you are.
Hi. Yeah, I heard about you guys. I was going to grad school in North Carolina, and I heard about you guys and wasn't able to attend an event. So I'm happy to be able to join from Pennsylvania because I've had an ongoing issue, and maybe you guys can help. So I have had in my possession for over 10 years some really old cameras. So this is a black and white film camera. This one is a Canon camera. I actually have 3 of them, but I think this one is the primary one I'm not sure how to fix. And I've used them before. I've actually successfully developed film like 5 or 10 years ago, so I haven't used them in a while. I took this camera to a repair shop a few years ago, or a camera shop a few years ago, but they couldn't help me because it's a really old camera and most people don't work with black and white film anymore. But the issue with this one is that I'm having trouble getting the it's not advancing. So there's no film in it right now, but I'm not sure if there's something wrong internal or if it's stuck on a wrong setting. So I don't know if anyone here has knowledge of old-fashioned cameras, but
Can you push the button and take a picture?
No. So the button's not working, and I can't advance it. I can open it up if you want to see the inside, so that part works, but
there's a shutter release, I'm sorry, a sprocket release button on the bottom of the camera. Can you push the black button?
This guy?
Yeah. Can you push that in and then try winding it?
Yeah.
Hold it in while you wind it.
Hold it? Okay. Hold it, and then when you say wind it, are you talking about this thing?
No, the other, or the film event.
Right here.
Yeah.
This thing?
Any difference?
No.
Okay. And is that, what model Canon? Is that an AE1?
It says AT1.
AT1, okay.
It sounds like what those cameras had, when you wound it, it would lock that film advance lever until you took a picture.
Right.
So it may be locked on purpose by the camera. All you got to do is figure out what thing to push to get it unlocked.
Is that camera?
Is there batteries in there, or is that purely mechanical?
That was my question. Does it have a battery in it?
In the front of the camera, there should be a little door next to the lens.
Door next to the lens. Do you want me to take the lens out?
No. Open the back of it. If there's batteries in it, sometimes you have to open the back to change them. Other times, it's a little round disc on the bottom of the camera that unscrews.
Well, I think the AE1 I know has an LR44, which is a larger, squatty little battery in the front.
Okay, so this is the door. So where would the battery be?
Can you swing it around? Can I just see the front of it? Where your fingers are blocking on there. Like, no, yeah. Okay, to the left of our screen.
Right here?
No, the other side.
Okay.
See, there's a little door, and the battery is inside that door.
I see. Okay, so how do you open this?
There's a little tiny switch that you should be able to slide and open it up.
Switch. Okay, on the front, maybe?
Yeah, on that door. There's a little latch.
Okay, I might see it here. Let's see. Ah, okay. Yes. Oh my gosh, I did not even know this had a battery. So
there you
here
go.
it is.
So I think that's I want to say it's an LR44. I'm not sure, but yeah, you can get that at Walgreens or CVS.
And you're saying that it's just that the battery died, probably?
It could be.
Well, yeah, if the battery's dead and the trip mechanism relies on that battery, obviously it's not tripping.
That would make a lot of sense. Okay, well, that's a very first good place to start. So, and you're saying you could just go to any major place to get it? Okay.
Yeah, they're easy to get.
Okay, awesome. Well, I will follow that down, and then if I have more trouble, I will maybe join a follow-up meeting. But yeah, that was hopefully the issue. I have film, and I still like to take old-fashioned photography, so this might be the thing to get me started again.
One of our guests is curious exactly which battery is it. Can you think you can get it out?
Yeah, let's see here. To be honest, so I got these cameras like as a gift like a really long time ago. They were actually being auctioned off at the police station. Some guy who was on vacation just forgot them, and so we don't really know much about them other than what we received in the box. So it's a Duracell 6-volt.
Yep.
Is there any, it's hard for you to read it, but what information do you need on it?
Is that a 123A?
It's a, does PX28A make any sense?
Yeah, maybe hard to find.
Okay. Maybe I could special order it on B&H or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, B&H.
Yeah, probably your best bet, B&H.
Okay.
There are some smaller websites that specialize in older cameras, even selling things like film from like the 1880s. Because I have a couple really old cameras.
Yeah.
And if somewhere like B&H doesn't have it, which they should, then just ping Dawn, and one of us should probably be able to help you.
Awesome.
Looks a little smaller than 123A. In fact, I've got one of those in my drawer here, but that one looks a little bit smaller than that.
Okay, so the type of that, this is a PX28A. That's the type I would need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay. I would recommend putting that in a Ziploc or cloth bag or whatever and labeling it and carrying it around in your car.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. I have never seen a battery like this before. In fact, I should have known, but I guess I didn't even think it had a battery. So it's definitely probably, the battery's probably old. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for joining us this evening. So now, if you kind of just joined us, or maybe you missed our introduction, Repair Cafe is kind of a international network of independently operated chapters that try to help folks repair items. In pop-up events, they might be monthly or quarterly near you. And so we're trying to do this as an online version of Repair Cafe, since we can't meet in person. And so if you've called with or if you joined us this evening with a project you'd like to get some feedback on, you can hit the button in your Zoom software that says raise hand, and then we'll be able to call on you and invite you to share your project. We've got about 21 people in our audience right now. We've been online now for about an hour and a half, so we might start to wrap it up unless anybody has some questions they'd like to share with us. And
I want to say I was on Zoom with my niece in Portland, Oregon this morning and fixed her stereo for her. So I have one success today.
Well, we're going to make that Cuisinart repair a success before long, so you'll
there you go.
count too. I do see we have John raising his hand, so we want to bring John on board. And John?
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Where are you calling from, John?
Yeah, I'm with Dan in Western North Carolina, Repair Cafe.
So you're one of the repair coaches there at WNC?
That's right. Yeah, I was supposed to be a panelist, but I was out hiking and I was talking. So check in, say it's been great to monitor. I was on Facebook. I don't think you saw me until now.
Nope. So, and I know we've had folks calling in from all over, and I see we do have some folks in Australia. We're in Melbourne. We're watching us.
Yeah.
We had folks calling in from all over the U.S.
Yeah, it's been really inspiring to listen.
Yep. So I think then we're going to probably wrap it up.
Right.
Any of our coaches want to add anything else to our experiences this evening?
Big props to Don for setting this up and managing us well and putting us on Facebook Live.
Well, thanks. Yeah, this was our second event, and I think it's been great. We had a great turnout with our guests, some interesting projects, and so we will definitely do it again. We don't have a date set yet, but clearly, we've got some momentum building and a lot of strong support out there. So we'll do this again. Meanwhile, you can certainly follow us online, both Repair Cafe NC and WNC Repair Cafe have presences on Facebook, and you can find us on the web. We have mailing lists you can sign up for to get notified of future events. And you can always post queries on Facebook or send us an email, and we'll try to get you in touch with the resources you need to be successful doing repair at home. So thanks everyone for tuning in tonight, and keep your eyes open for the next event we may schedule in the future. So,
Thank you, Don.
Special thanks to all of our
Thank you, Don.
coaches. Thanks everybody.
Night all.
Appreciate it.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.